see how the 6.2 performs here. But driving these back to back, you can actually perceive a difference. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be doing a driving comparison between a 2021 GMC Yukon Denali and a 2021 Cadillac Escalade. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to National GMC for giving me some time with the Yukon. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Talk about visibility here before we set off in the Yukon. So first off, visibility of the hood's really good, and hopefully you can see the heads-up display. Here's your visibility through both of the mirrors, and then here's throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So setting off here in the Yukon, and this should be pretty interesting since the Escalade has air suspension and this one doesn't. This one still has the magnetic ride control, but I'm hoping that I can actually perceive a difference with the ride quality, and obviously we won't know until we actually drive them both back to back. But first off, let's actually talk about how this Yukon Denali drives. So first off, from a ride quality perspective, it's very smooth, and let's see, going over this manhole cover, nothing really upsets you. You don't really feel a whole lot through the suspension, so definitely gives you that taken away from the road luxury car type feel. And we'll see how the 6.2 performs here. Definitely sounds good, and it is definitely quick. You guys know I love the 6.2 at the 10 speed. One of my favorite engine transmission combos of all time. So I'm glad that the Yukon Denali has that whole setup going on. But let's talk about the rest of the characteristics here with the Yukon. So first off, from a handling perspective, yes, it does kind of feel like a larger size SUV, but it's not hard to drive by any means. It's actually relatively tame, relatively easy to drive overall. And then aside from the handling, again, the ride quality is really smooth. It's got a nice, quiet interior in here. And sorry if the air is a little bit too loud. It is just disgustingly hot today, which, yeah, it's just one of those days. But aside from all of that, like, it's just a smooth, comfortable SUV. Like I said earlier, visibility is great throughout all of it. And so if you're looking for something that has, again, a good towing capacity, good payload capacity that you can carry around, I mean, you can carry around quite a few people, right? You've got the 2 people up front, 2 people in the captain chairs, and then you've got the 3 people that you can fit in the back. Now, if you are going to do adults, I'd recommend just doing 6 people and not doing 3 in the back. But if you are going to do kids, you could easily fit 3 there in the back. So it's just great overall, drives really smooth. But the biggest thing I want to see is I want to see if there's a difference between this and the Escalade because of that air suspension. I want to see if you can actually perceive it driving them back to back. But this is still very smooth. From an SUV perspective, it's definitely got this nice smooth ride quality about it, and that's super quick with that 6.2 V8. Definitely, again, such a good engine. And you guys can see here, I'll show you guys with the parking. Obviously I probably won't get this right the first time because, well, reasons, but kind of see how this is. I mean, the camera system's great. We'll leave quite a bit of space between us and the other SUV. You can see, like, from a parking perspective, it is just super easy. I mean, it's just easy to park, and the camera resolution is great. And then notice when I go into drive, it'll throw on the front camera, so then I'll have those lines as well. So great tech as well. And yeah, that's the Yukon. So let's go pop in the Caddy and see if it drives any different. Let's talk about visibility here in the Escalade before we set off. So you guys can see visibility of the hood's great. Still get a heads-up display. There's visibility through both of the mirrors. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear. So from a visibility standpoint, I mean, we're identical with both of them. And parking brake off, drive, and, well, let's set off. Now, setting off in the Cadillac. Is there really a difference? Are you really getting anything extra for $30,000 other than some different looks with the interior and different screen and all that kind of stuff? So first off, with the ride quality, you can perceive a difference with one of these with the air suspension versus without the air suspension, just right off the bat, I can definitely perceive a difference. The biggest difference though I'm noticing was with the seats. The seats in the Cadillac definitely do feel quite a bit softer. And then also we've got that massage function here with the Cadillac seats. And so then you do have that added benefit of comfort here with the Cadillac, which is definitely a huge plus. And then aside from that, driving wise, it actually does feel a little bit different. That is interesting. Definitely, again, feels a little bit more luxury from the steering perspective, and also with the suspension. It's not a huge difference. Like, if you do not drive these back to back, you will not be able to tell the difference. If you drove the Cadillac one week and then you drove the Yukon the next week without air suspension, you won't know the difference. But driving these back to back, you can actually perceive a difference, and I should probably get an acceleration here just for video's sake with the Escalade. Same engine, same transmission, acceleration's the same, it's just as good. But yes, you can actually perceive a ride quality difference, and there is kind of just a little bit of a different feeling here with the Cadillac. From the ride quality, again, to the steering, to the feeling of the seats, getting the massage, you kind of just, again, have that overall like really like nice luxury feel. Now the Yukon is still a really good luxury car. You still get the luxury car feeling. This is just the next level above that. So you would never have any complaints about the Yukon. You'd never be like, oh man, this is not a good enough luxury vehicle for me. But if you get into a Yukon and it doesn't feel luxury enough, then yes, the Escalade definitely does feel more of a substantial luxury vehicle. It definitely feels a little bit nicer, feels a little bit softer. I feel like noise insulation is a little bit better with the Escalade. Everything just feels a little bit nicer. But is it $30,000 nicer? I'm not exactly sure. It really just depends on what your needs are. Do you really value having a more premium sound system, a little bit nicer ride quality, different exterior aesthetics, softer seats, massaging seat, different screen layout? If you don't value that stuff and you just want a good third row SUV that has a good towing capacity, good payload capacity, can carry around 7 people, has heated and ventilated seats, has screens in the back for the kids, then the Yukon makes all the sense. But if you're looking for that extra layer of luxury, then yes, it kind of makes sense to go for the Cadillac. But if you're really not looking for that extra layer of luxury, it just doesn't make sense. And now we'll do a pulling in test. So this is what I do with the Escalade, is I pop it into reverse and then I pop it into drive, so it automatically pops on the front camera, and then I use that to help me pull in. And then obviously the front camera is nice so that you don't go all the way up to the curb and then potentially scrape the bumper. It's an SUV, so it most likely won't on a curb, but you'd rather be safe than sorry. And well, that's the Cadillac. Now that's gonna sum things up for our driving comparison between this Yukon and this 2021 Escalade. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to National GMC for giving me some time with the Yukon. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.
Mm-hmm.